Minnesota, should they take the deal is the question for you.
Well, first of all, no, they shouldn't. Let me be very, very clear. Flip Saunders worked here. He's a man I respect. I think he'll do a good job as an executive, and he's a better coach than he thinks because obviously his ego took a hit because of how things ended in Washington, and he clearly is on a mission to prove something in Minnesota. He doesn't have to prove it. We know Flip Saunders could coach, but more power to him. My issue with him, however, is that the mere fact that this is being considered is something I consider nothing short of a basketball travesty. The fact is that Anthony Bennett, the former #1 overall pick for the Cleveland Cavaliers last year, we didn't learn the boy could play in the NBA until April. From November to March, there was an APB out for his game. We couldn't find it, all right? It just wasn't there. We looked at him and said, well, go back to Canada. Learn how to play some basketball or UNLV, wherever you are, because you ain't cutting it on the NBA level because his game seemed that lost. Now, he did show up in the latter part of the season and showed some things. And to his credit, as Coach David Blatt said, I've watched a lot of Summer League action this year. And I got to admit, he's working hard. He's doing a lot of good things. There's a reason to have faith in Anthony Bennett. Andrew Wiggins, beautiful talent. Tremendous upside, I think could potentially be a star on the NBA level in years to come. But at the moment, suspect handle, suspect jump shot. Now, those two picks and a future first-round pick, which ain't going to be that big of a deal with LeBron and Cleveland because they're going to be an elite team, that is supposed to be worth Kevin Love? In what world? I'm going to repeat. In what world? It ain't even worth it. Kevin Love's got one knock against him. They say that he complains, points fingers, J.J. Barea and others like that have to get in his face, whatever. That's what you hear. I love Kevin Love's game. The man has averaged 26 and 12.
His offensive game.
His offensive game. Now, I mean, you're right. Okay. Modified. Definitely his offense. Certainly not his defense. Okay, same thing with James Harden. Love his offense. Defense is horrid. Here's the deal. When you look at Kevin Love, he's 26 and 12. He rebounds. He's a walking double-double. Picking and popping is his specialty. He can pull up from three. I'm sorry. You put up 26 and 12 on a nightly basis as the #1 option for your team on the NBA level, regardless of the fact that they haven't been a playoff team. Don't come and tell me that Andrew Wiggins and Anthony Bennett are worth Kevin Love, especially when you had the opportunity to get Klay Thompson, Harrison Barnes, David Lee from Golden State. And all of this stuff about Klay Thompson ain't in the mix. That may be now. But anybody who tells you he wasn't in the mix weeks ago, that's a lie. The Golden State Warriors were vacillating back and forth, but ultimately were willing to let him go for Kevin Love. Okay? And then Flip Saunders didn't want to give up the number 13 overall pick in the draft. That is what happened. They were even willing to take Kevin Martin's contract back to get Kevin Love. So I want to hear all of that. When you got that kind of deal on the table, you cannot come back. If you are Minnesota, you cannot go to the fans in the Twin Cities and say to them, well, we got Andrew Wiggins and we got Anthony Bennett for Kevin Love. Right. That is not cutting the mustard. If I'm the owner, Glenn Taylor, and you do that deal, I'm giving you a real hard look about what your career is going to be like. Maybe I should not have given you this title. Maybe I shouldn't have given you this power. Can't do it, Skip. Can't do it. The deal does not suffice, not for those two, and a first-round pick. That is not enough that Cleveland is offering or Cleveland has to give. They got to do better than that for Kevin Love.
I completely agree with every word you just said. And I'll throw on this point. Kevin Love has now indicated publicly that he will not be a one-year rental in Cleveland, right?
Right.
He said, I will, because LeBron's there, it's LeBron's team,
right.
I will commit long-term. So you cannot argue back.
Right.
If you're Cleveland, you can't argue back, oh, we're just going to rent him for so you got to take these two unproven first picks in the draft. Nope, not doing it. So you may tell me where I'm wrong about this, but if I am LeBron James, the new GM of the Cleveland Cavaliers, because the owner's not the GM anymore, now it's LeBron.
Clearly.
Am I right?
Yes.
He is now the GM of the Cavaliers.
Correct.
If I am LeBron James, general manager, I offer, you ready for this? Kyrie, straight up, for Kevin Love, straight up. I say, you want Kyrie, you can have him, because you can sell Kyrie in Minnesota. You can say, we have a star under contract. Now, maybe there's some stipulations contract. I don't think he has a no trade. I don't know.
He doesn't.
I don't think so.
You talking about Kyrie?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Okay. So tell me why you wouldn't make that deal, because I'm still not sure how Kyrie fits with LeBron James.
Well, let me tell you why. Let me answer that question. Number one, if I'm Cleveland, I don't offer it. If I'm Minnesota, I demand it.
Okay.
There's a difference. Number two.
Why wouldn't you offer it?
Well, because...
So you're telling me you'd rather have Kyrie than Kevin Love?
No, what I'm saying to you is that if I believe I've got a chance to get Kevin Love without giving up Kyrie,
what if
then
you
I'm
don't?
going to do that. But then that's a different ball game, and it's something I consider. But here's the thing, Skip. You also got to remember, Cleveland gave him $90 million. Minnesota ain't trying to give up $90 million. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, but
it gets tricky.
But I'm sold
tricky.
on Kyrie. Personally,
me personally, too, I think the brother's big time. I certainly like him a hell of a lot more than I like Ricky Rubio.
I
can promise you that.
Okay, so
but at the same time, even though you don't necessarily need a point guard with LeBron on your squad, I love the idea of Kyrie Irving. A point guard and a ball handler with LeBron.
Did you say ball hog or ball handler?
Ball handler.
Oh, ball handler.
I don't think he's a ball hog.
Oh, okay.
I think he was who he was.
He will shoot it.
I think he was who he was because he didn't have a LeBron on his squad.
Okay.
But you also have to remember, he can shoot. This is not a dude that could just jack up. He can shoot.
He's a two-guard as well as a point guard.
He can do both.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying to you is that if I get a chance to hold on to Kyrie and add Kevin Love, I'm sorry. That's my number one priority.
Okay.